Welcome back to our YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to show you how to pour a concrete public sidewalk that's in between a parking strip and also a driveway. We're going to show you how to finish the concrete, how to work everything, and then also take care of a slope difference that's in the driveway area. Stay tuned until the end so you can see the whole process. If you want to learn how to pour all kinds of concrete work with the proper finishing techniques, then you're in the best place here on YouTube. Consider subscribing to our channel and activate the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. Here we have 54 lineal feet of 6-foot wide public sidewalk area. We already set all the perimeter forms, and we had to saw cut a couple feet from the existing driveway so we can get the proper slope. The city of Portland requires us to have a maximum 2% slope going towards the street, and around here we have like 1.5%. We have those stakes right there where you see that board. Those stakes have like nails that give us the level right there where it has the slope difference. So here later in the video, we're going to show you how to work the concrete right there, because the driveway slopes down and then it goes right where the sidewalk is. So we're going to have to take care of that difference in slope and level. So those stakes really are going to help us out quite a bit, and it's basically going to be our reference point. So the nice thing about pouring a public sidewalk is that you can basically pour this directly from the concrete truck. And we're using a couple of come-along rakes. We'll need to be able to move the concrete that we just poured. So in order to do that, we're gonna have to push it and pull it around. So we use these come-along rakes. They come in very handy. They're designed for this purpose. So once you kind of get the concrete really close, then right there you see on the left side we have the Screed board. So the Screed board, we use it so that way it helps us to smoothen out the concrete that we just laid down. And this tool is going to be really helpful, especially when you need to get rid of like excess concrete from the surface. It's really easy to use. You don't need to be a professional or anything to handle this tool properly. All you got to do is scrape it across the surface and use it to get the concrete as smooth as you possibly can. The good thing about, setting up the form boards and properly securing them is we're just basically gliding that Screed board on the top of the two form boards. And once you do that, then we start utilizing this bull float. We typically use the bull float after we screed the concrete. And you'll want to do this in both directions. Like you saw, we did it on one direction, and right here we're doing it on the other way. So that way you get a nice float. It evens everything out, not only in one direction, but in two. And then over here, we're almost getting done with pouring all of the concrete. Here in this area, the concrete is 6 inches thick. And those are the stakes that I mentioned earlier. Right there, he's just moving the concrete around there and filling it in, so that way he can get the level right there where the nail is. And then once he has that established, then he uses that Screed board to remove any excess concrete. This is the other stake right there and the nail. And so once he has it right there, then he also pulls the concrete. And then from there, he just runs it the other direction, how he was going. And one thing you'll want to use is the level. So that's what we have right there. So once we pull the concrete, we run our level and we check the percentage, because we need to have at least 1.5%, maximum 2% slope. So in the areas where we notice if it's a little level or if it needs more, we just making sure that that we take care of that right now, especially since the concrete is very wet and easy to maneuver. So if it's a little high or too much or whatever, we can easily just, scrape it and just make sure that we have a nice level all the way through. And then right there, after we floated it, we continue to use our hand floats. We're going to do that on all of the edges because this will help you find out if you have any additional high spots or any low spots that you need to kind of take care of. So once you have everything floated and leveled across the edge, then we can run the edger. So you don't want to run this edger right away because, it could be that even after you screed the concrete and kind of have it there, the edge, it may not be exactly, following the level. So that's why you got to float it. And that's basically what we did. And so that's why right here, now we can easily just run our edger tool. And that just helps us get a nice clean edge. And so right there, we were floating the concrete and we noticed there was a low spot. So also something very easy, you can just bring in more concrete and just fill it in and just continue to run your trowel. And this is the area right there, that little slope that we had to replace on the driveway. We're using a little screed board. So that helps us to kind of remove any excess concrete and make sure we're following the same level. So we use that screed board along with our hand float, and with both of those tools, we can get this concrete really close to where it needs to be. And then from there, we just continue to trowel and float the surface until we get a nice, even and smoothened out. And over here, we're pretty much getting wrapped up already, continuing to remove any excess concrete. And then right away, we start marking every 3 feet. We need to have a tool joint, because in the public sidewalk area, in our case, they divide it by 3 by 3 squares. So we run the string line right there all the way through the middle to get the center line. That way, that'll be a reference, a guide. And then we do basically, we'll put in our groover tool. That's what you see right there. And that one, we're following the line that we marked. And then also on the cross joints, we use them on both sides. So we typically do this when the concrete is still very fresh, because it just makes it a lot easier. You can put in the tool and you can glide it across, and it's gonna be just a lot more efficient that way. If you were to wait for the concrete to dry more, then you're gonna have a hard time, pressing it in the concrete and the rocks that are in there. So with this right here, we were able to knock it out and get it done pretty quickly. So once we have all the tool joints, we have one right there where the driveway ends and where it meets with the sidewalk. So we use a different kind of a tool right there, but it's pretty similar. So that way we can have all the joints set up, and that's pretty much it. We have all the joints, the 3 by 3 squares, running all the way through the sidewalk. And then right there, we're continuing to run the edger tool in any areas that we still needed to do. And then that's the results right there. So we have it all set up, and then we have a blower right there, because over here in the Pacific Northwest, we have a lot of leaves and stuff. So that helps us to clear everything up. And right there, we have that trowel. We're just running the trowel on all of the surface, giving it a pass through. And that helps us to take out the cream and kind of seal up the concrete. This is going to help us get it ready, so that way, after all this, we're just going to come back and continue to trowel the surface. And then after that, we're going to be able to apply the broom finish. So right here, we're running the joint right there one more time, and that gives us a beautiful, nice straight line. So that's where the chalk line came in very handy. We just guided ourselves through that, got it as straight as possible, and we got a really beautiful result. So right here, after you have it, this is really close. We just got to let the concrete dry a little bit more, and then we're just going to continue to run the edger tools And we're gonna do it on all of the joints. And then we're also gonna trowel the surface, so that way we can get it nice and evened out on all of the surface area. And then once we have it all pretty much close, that's what we're doing right here. We're just troweling the surface. We have to basically do it on every square. So once we give it this go around, then after this we'll be able to apply the broom finish. So there it is. We pretty much, everything's ready to go. We're starting to brush, do the broom finish. We just run it across. And that's pretty much the process of how to pour and finish a concrete public sidewalk. In our case, we're over here in the Pacific Northwest in the Portland, Oregon area. This is a job, it's pretty straightforward. Overall, it took us about 3, maybe 4 hours until we got to this point where we can apply the broom finish. Then after this, we're just gonna set up barricades, protect all the area, come back the following day, clean everything up, remove the forms, and then that's pretty much the whole project. We hope you liked this video. Please consider subscribing to our channel, activate the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. May God bless you, and we'll see you on the next one.